Peace and blessings. This is Moon Goddess Ambrosia, the Fifth Force Oracle of Moon Goddess and the Healing Arts. And this is video number 3. We are currently on Kin 9, which is the red solar serpent. And I will be providing you all with the cosmic oracle reading of evolution so that we can really hone in on our divine power, our divine creative power, and really evolve ourselves in mind, body, and soul and come into our divine purpose. And so I am honored every time to come on here to share the cosmic oracle reading because it has helped me personally to make advances in my own life, even in within my healing, my connections with family members or different relationships. It helped me to discover more about my purpose, which has ultimately led up to me introducing this as part of one of the services that I offer through Moon Goddess and the Healing Arts. And so everything that I share with you all, I have practiced and studied myself. So I am very big on integrity. So I know for a fact this works. And I'm just so excited to be able to share this knowledge and the wisdom that I've gained through incorporating it within my life and all of those good things. And so to begin here, I definitely want to invite you all and encourage you all to follow me on Instagram. I have my contact information here on the left, and I also have it in the description. So definitely take some time out to follow me on Instagram at moongoddesstarot.com or at moon.goddess.tarot, and then also on Facebook at Moon Goddess and the Healing Arts. And so also, number one, make sure you just subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. I think it's on, what side it's going to be on? It's going to be on this side. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because I will be coming on here frequently to share these cosmic oracle readings. And so I want to say that one of my missions through Moon Goddess and the Healing Arts, or as the Fifth Force Oracle, is to help us or guide us through the process of remembering who we are, remembering our divine nature and the power that we have to, make certain evolutions, to make certain shifts within our lives, as well as evolve into evolve to have a positive impact on the way that humanity evolves as a whole. And so I am going to go ahead and jump right on into why we all are here and why you all are tapping in. And I definitely want to send my love and gratitude for all of you who have been following along with me as we endure this journey of self-remembrance to self-mastery. And so I do want to start by saying my personal galactic signature, which you will learn more about as you continue to tap in with me. If this is your first time, and then if not, you already know what's up. So according to the cosmology that I will be talking about, I am the red crystal dragon. That is my creative frequency and vibration, and it corresponds to Kin 181. And so the affirmation for my signature states, I dedicate in order to nurture, universalizing being. I seal the input of birth with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of space. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe-yo. I love to say my affirmation because it just reminds me of all that I am as all that I am. And, it just reminds me that, I came here with a divine purpose. I know that this affirmation really reflects all that I am, truly. I'm definitely dedicated to my heart space. Everything that I do is geared towards being able to nurture myself and nurture others in a way that they can organically be themselves. And so one of my ways of doing it. My favorite way is doing it through collaborations, through connecting with different people, because it opens my mind as well to different different perspectives that I can further develop my own conscious enlightenment and things. And so it's just really amazing to come into this affirmation, come into the cosmology, and to see how much it has impacted me in developing more confidence, having clarity on uh, different ways to navigate through life. And, that goes back to why I started, I felt inspired to share these cosmic oracle readings, because last thing before I jump right on in, for me, it has been, or a challenge for me through life has been figuring out how to navigate in this experience and in this human experience, because we have so many different things or options that we can participate in. And sometimes those things can become a distraction. And so one thing for me was, was that I've always been so big on purpose. I've always wanted to, know what my purpose was and how to get about doing it, and really operating in my purpose, because I know how much I have an impact on, on others. And so I was like, okay, how can I branch this out and do more than, what I've already been doing? And so with that, I am going to go ahead and, just share some knowledge and wisdom as far as how to apply this information so that you can also know how to navigate through your divine purpose and the path that you are on in this lifetime. And so the cosmic oracle readings of evolution. These readings are based on the law of time, Destiny Kin Oracle, or I'll say the Destiny Kin Oracle board. And so the way that this cosmology, or the origin of this cosmology, came from the Olmec civilization. Sometimes you may hear it as referred to as the Mayans. However, it originated from the Olmec civilization. And so one thing that I found very intriguing about this is that it provides us with a 5-dimensional template, meaning that we are multidimensional. That 5-dimensional template includes that, we come here in this experience, first and foremost, with the body, and we have this creative power within the body. Now, when it comes to that creative power that we hold, we also get that information from the energy that we're sensing, which we feel or corresponds to those emotions. We also get the knowledge and the insight as to what to do with these emotions through our mental. That's the other component of it. And then we are spiritually guided. And when I talk about spirit, I'm talking about the essence of all life. Everything that exists, especially every living being that exists, has spirit within them. The spirit corresponds to our breath, that prana energy, right? And so we have, the physical, we have the emotions, we have the mental, we're spiritually guided, and we also have a soul. And so when we are able to look at ourselves from this multidimensional aspect, we can now bring our wholeness into harmony. And so by providing or looking at and knowing your personal destiny oracle, it helps you to synchronize all of those energies and be able to understand different ways that you can sustain it through you being in a physical human or a physical being here on earth. And not only that, your energy radiates throughout the entire universe. People sense your energy. People know what kind of frequency you're moving in and what vibration you have. And, being able to understand or be privy to this knowledge definitely helps to bring a lot more into perspective about who you are and what your purpose is. And so I like to look at this as or when I look at the Oracle board, and I'll further explain once we get into the Cosmic Oracle reading. But when I look at the Oracle board, I look at my body as a spaceship, and then the energy, that life force, the spirit within inside of me, that is, or I'll say the life force inside of me, that energy inside of me is the driver inside of me. So I mentioned about the spaceship. So my body is a spaceship. My life force is the astronaut, or in this sense, I like to say the synchrononaut. And, our spirit acts as our GPS system. It shows us where to go. And so then we get our fuel to move the body through our emotions. We've sensed these different emotions that inspire our mindset to, navigate in our energy in different paths. And so when we're able to, like I said, synchronize all of this information based on our energy signatures or our galactic signatures, it helps us to be more in alignment and be more in harmony and peace within ourselves as well as with others. And so let's go ahead and get into this journey of self-remembrance to self-mastery by going over a couple of basic information here. And so the cosmology that I am speaking from is called the Law of Time, which integrates the 13 moon calendar, the 28-day calendar, with the Zocan harmonic module. Now, the 13 moon calendar is so amazing to apply because with each moon, it helps guide us through our creation process. It helps us to set intentions for every moon that we're evolving through. Because just think about how many times you made a New Year's resolution and you didn't stick it out. You know what I'm saying? So for example, when it comes to the 13 moon calendar, or why I shifted into the 13 moon calendar, is because I noticed that each of the moons presents us with the question. So the first cycle starts on July 26th, and the first moon is the magnetic back moon, and it asks, what is my purpose? And so as we continue to go through all 13 moons, the last moon is the cosmic turtle moon, which asks the question, how can I expand my love and joy? And so while we're going through each of the different moons, they all ask a question. So it's basically helping us guide our 3D selves through the evolution process. And so it's combined with that Zocan calendar, which shows us how we can operate with the energies, the consciousness that we have. And so when we put both of these together, that helps us to move and evolve in a more structured way that aligns with our own natural frequencies, our own natural vibrations, and also be in alignment with with nature, the cosmos, and just all of the natural cycles. And so with that, excuse me, with that, my goal is to provide the cosmic oracle reading so that you can see where we are in the 13 moon calendar as well as within the Zocan calendar, and then start integrating the oracle readings to navigate every time we're on particular plasmas. And so one thing I will say, and I will highly encourage you to do, is to come out to the New Kin orientation sessions that I facilitate with Neb Taharka Kanishkawak, who is the founder of the Synchronistic Human School of Enlightenment. On those sessions, the New Kin orientation sessions, we introduce you to the cosmology. We talk a little bit more about it in more detail, and we introduce you to your galactic signature so that you can discover your purpose or develop more clarity and insight about your purpose. And we'll also go into the kin of the plasma oracle reading as well. And so the New Kin orientation sessions are every Thursday at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also will have the link and the information in the description. So again, if you want to learn more about the cosmology, I highly encourage you all to come out to that new Kin orientation. The next one that we will be having will be on tomorrow, on April 3rd, and you can tap in on all social media platforms, including YouTube. And so to the YouTube page is Synchronistic Human 441. I have that listed here on the left as well as in the description as well. So definitely come on and join us on the New Kin orientation session, and I look forward to seeing you all there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into where we currently are within this cycle. We are in the year of the blue rhythmic storm. So that means when we started the current 13 moon calendar or 13 moon cycle that we're in, the first moon started on Kin 19, which is the blue rhythmic storm. So that sets the tone for how we're evolving throughout the 13 moons. And so with that, we are evolving in the way that we balance the power to self-generate ourselves, to catalyze our own energy. And like I said, just to bring it into balance, understand all the different parts of what makes us who we are. That's one of the reasons that I felt even more inspired to start sharing these cosmic oracle readings, because it's definitely time that we understand ourselves more and get to it with this evolution. Because as we evolve as individuals, we also evolve as a collective. And so coming back to us being in the blue rhythmic storm, the mission that we're accomplishing throughout this year is allowing ourselves to be receptive to new information. And so just think about it, in order for us to evolve, we have to be open to trying new things. And so with us being on in this year, as we allow ourselves to be open and, receive new information, that opens up the door for us to experience different opportunities or have different life experiences. And so now where we currently are within the 13 moon calendar, we are within the solar Jaguar moon. This moon runs from March 7th to March, give me one second. Wait, give me one second. So it runs, my bad. My apologies. So yes, this is the ninth moon, and it runs from March 7th to April 3rd. So tomorrow will actually be the last kin of this moon, or the last day, or the last plasma of this moon. And so what I have highlighted, well, before I talk about what we have highlighted, the solar Jaguar moon asks us this question: how do I attain my purpose? This is another synchronicity as to why I felt inspired to go ahead and do these cosmic oracle readings. Because also with us, being in this year of balancing our own energy, right? Coming into how to really utilize our own energy, with that, or something that helps us with that, is knowing what our purpose is. And so with us being in the solar Jaguar moon, we have this opportunity to, not only catalyze our own energy, but also see that, or see different ways that we can come into and attract and reach our reach the fulfillment of our purpose. So even if you are new to this cosmology, at any point that you jump in is a great start. It's all in divine timing. So chances are, if you are watching this video right now, it is time for you to take that leap. So I encourage you to continue joining in with me on these sessions, and I look forward to seeing you evolve and us connecting as well. And so with that, I'm going to talk a little bit about where we are within the moon that we're on. We are here on Kin 9. I started doing these cosmic oracle readings on Kin 1, which is the first kin out of that 260 Zocan calendar. So I started it so that we can really attract our awareness and be present in our body and start getting to know what our purpose is. So, we could just really refresh ourselves and rebirth ourselves in a different way as we come through or evolve through this 260 cycle. And so now we are on Kin 9, the red solar moon. And so I just wanted to show you, where we started at and where we are currently. And so to give a little bit more information about the moon that we're in, I am very big on words. I love to be intentional about the words that I speak because I know that our words or my words put out certain frequencies and vibrations that reflects who I am, right? And so I took a moment to look into, some of the keywords that pertains to the moon that we're in, which is attain, purpose, and pulsing. So the solar aspect of, or the significance of that solar vibration of the moon that we're in is so that we can realize our intentions and operate in our intentions or pulse in the frequency of our intentions. So when it comes to the question, or let me go back. So pulsing, it means to beat at a rhythmic pace. It's basically saying, we want to get into the flow, just like when your heart beating, you're alive, right? So how can we know we're alive, or how can we know what our purpose is if we don't feel it beating in us, if we're not getting into the rhythm of it, right? And so, the whole intention for this moon that we're on is to get into that frequency, right? So it asks that question: how can I attain my purpose? When it comes to attaining, that means to come up to reach, attain, to endeavor, or to strive, or to come so close to touch, right? So it's saying, how can I reach my purpose? Like, how can I succeed in reaching my purpose? How can I touch my purpose? This is what this moon is bringing us to focus on. And so what is purpose? So purpose means what is our intention, what is our aim, and what is our goal? What is the proper function for how something or why something exists? So when it comes to what is my purpose, obviously I'm thinking like, why do I exist? So why was I incarnated, or why was I created here on earth, basically? So I want you all to ask that same question as we continue to evolve through these cycles and everything. Like, the whole point is to come into awareness of what our purpose is and really start to operate in that in a harmonious type of way. And so with that, to give like so I'll just say that, keep that in mind. We want to know, how can we attain our purpose? You want to know, how can you attain your purpose? What is your purpose? Start thinking about what your purpose is and what that looks like, okay? And so now we're going to shift in talking about the significance of the Zocan calendar. Because remember, goodness. So remember what I was saying about, how we integrate both of the calendars. When it comes to the Zocan calendar, this is our allowing ourselves to be rebirthed, to connect with our natural cycles, to connect with our energy, the different aspects of our destiny oracle, our consciousness. And so I look at the Zocan calendar as a calendar of creation, evolution, and consciousness. And so I have this amazing visual that was created by High Priestess Mayat, who is the co-founder of Mimic. And she had put together this, like a real simple overview of how we evolve through the Zocan calendar. So right now we are in that first segment of new birth, or a birth of a new being, or, rebirthing ourselves, operating as a new version, a different version of ourselves. So the first 4 wave spells within the Zocan calendar helps us to facilitate that. So right now we are in the red dragon wave spell, which is where we're nurturing ourselves to operate in a new expression. And so the Cosmic Oracle reading will be based on the kin that we're on within this current wave spell. So, as we get into that, I want you to stay mindful, like, okay, right now, I want to tap into self-generating my energy. I want to know how can I attain my purpose. And now I get into the tap in with myself within and figure out how I need to nurture this new expression of myself so I could come into more clarity and more insights. And so let's go ahead and move forward here. This is actually this is the actual Zocan calendar that we have here on the left, and then on the right we have the layout of the Red Dragon Wave spell. So one thing I will say before I go super deep about where we are in the calendar, uh, where when we're talking about the Zocan calendar, it consists of 20 solar seals or creative frequencies that we can evolve or that we can create with. And so they all have so it's 20 solar seals, which corresponds to different archetypes. So the wave spell that we're in right now is the Red Dragon wave spell, which is the power of birth. And so the archetype for the red dragon is called the primal force. So we are tapping into that primal force energy, that the original energy that we came here with, before we started to have different impressions on pressed upon us, before we got influenced by our family, before we got influenced by our friends, and all of those things in society and things like that. We're having this opportunity to reconnect with all of that, with our original energy, or I like to say our synergy that we that we were born with. And so going back to what a wave spell is, every archetype every archetype / solar seal has its own wave spell. So we get the opportunity to look at, how can we master the art of that particular solar seal. So right now we're mastering the art of the red dragon, nurturing ourselves into our purpose. And so that's basically what a wave spell is. I look at them as 20 uh, skills to master, 20 different skills to master, or that's where the self-mastery comes in the journey of self-remembrance. And so when we look at where we are currently within the 260 Zocan calendar, we are here on Kin 9. This is the red solar moon. And so over here on the right, this just gives you a visual of the wave spell in itself. So when I did the first video, I talked about the first four kin, which is kin 1 through 4, the red magnetic dragon all the way to the yellow self-existing seed. And so during that process, we allow ourselves to, attract our awareness to the fact that we are human, that we exist in our bodies. And then we went through the different soul assignments so that we can get into now defining what our target is. When I did the second video, that was on Kin 5, the red, excuse me, I had to pause myself because my thoughts be going a little bit faster than I speak. So that was the red overtone serpent, which is Kin 5 down in that bottom left corner. And so that's when we started to command ourselves to trust our instincts, or command our instincts to empower our radiance. And throughout the soul assignments that we have during that period, it led up to us seeing how we can model the art of being ourselves, model the art of the goals that we are setting as we go through this, as we go through this wave spell. And so now we are on now we are on the red solar moon, where we're going to get into that right now. And so excuse me, let me slow down. All right, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into that next. Remember I had mentioned about the soul assignments. Right now, these images that I have here, those are just examples of the soul assignment. However, to stay updated with those, I highly encourage you to follow me on Instagram at _moon.goddess.tarot_. Every day I am posting those soul assignments to help us navigate through those periods where I'm not doing a video about, doing a video. And so I highly recommend checking out those soul assignments. I'm also posting them on Facebook at on my Facebook page, Goddess Ambrosia, and the group page, Moon Goddess and the Healing Arts. And so definitely tap in whether you're on Instagram or Facebook, and let's get in on this journey and continue evolving on this process. And so bringing us now to Q9, the red solar moon. I have it up top so that you all can stay reminded that we're honing in on mastering the power of our birth through nurturing ourselves, through nurturing our energy and our consciousness in our body, so that we can take flight and being present, being awake, being aware that we're in this physical vessel. And so now that we are on Kin 9, this is the affirmation. So we're going to read this 3 times so that we can lock it in. And as we read this affirmation, I want you to, hopefully you already got like a notebook or something so you can take down some notes. However, what I want you to do is write down any thoughts that come to mind as we read this affirmation. So let's go ahead and read into that. And it says, I pause in order to purify, realizing flow. I seal the process of universal water with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of life force. Allow yourself to get in your feelings. Really tap into how you feel, what you're thinking, if you're feeling any sensations or if you feel spiritually called to any part of this that's standing out. So 2 more times. I pause in order to purify, realizing flow. I seal the process of universal water with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of life force. So let me break this down a little bit more for you. So what are we pausing? We talked about what pausing means. It means to, what are we getting into the frequency of? Well, we're getting into the frequency of our purpose. Why are we here? We're getting into the frequency of being in tune with our birth space, our first birth space. Our body is our first home. So we're getting in tune with that so we can pause and operate in our intention by purifying ourselves. So, as I actually have a soul assignment that's going to, put this all together for you, and you're going to experience and be able to see it. However, I'll say that, as we pay attention to the fact or stay present to the fact that we are in this body, we start to realize how we flow in our energy in different ways that certain external energies can impact the way that we flow. So with that awareness, we can now, continue to catalyze our own energy by recognizing what energy we need to let go of, what type of energy does not help us to stay focused on, in our purpose, what doesn't help us to stay balanced in our purpose. And so, this is what this kin is all focused towards, is purifying our energy. We want to let it go so we can grow. That is the whole intention for this plasma that we're on. And so for the last time, we're going to read the affirmation, and then we're going to go ahead and get into this reading. All right. So again, we're being guided by the power of our life force. So this is where we want to tap into being aware of our instincts, being aware of our body sensations, and let's go ahead and say this affirmation one more time. I pause in order to purify, realizing flow. I seal the process of universal water with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of life force. Ashe, ashe, and ashe yo. So yes, as we realize, how we are to flow in our own frequencies, this helps us to lock in our intention. Our intention is to let our life force energy to guide us so that we can continue to evolve and nurture this new being, or this, rebirth ourselves into a new expression. We want to allow our life force to show us how to continue to thrive here in our existence. And so now let's get into the oracle reading. It actually shows us this whole process, how the energy flows in our emotions, our mental, our physical, how it flows in the way that we're being guided by our spirit, right? So let's go ahead and tap right on in. So we already talked about what the focus is. The focus is to realize our flow, get in tune with our intentions and really vibrate at that frequency, right? So the way that we're being guided, we can see that again, we have, it says we're being guided by the power of life force. That is what we have in that, in a position above the red moon, the red solar serpent. And so that acts as the guide, is guiding us to realize our flow, guided towards our life force thriving. Like, I don't like to say survive, but I play with words. We want to thrive. We want to thrive in our life force. So as we focus on realizing our flow, allow your mind to be guided towards, okay, how can I thrive in my life force? How can I stay vitalized? Like, how can I feel alive? You know what I'm saying? So, so that is how we're being guided. And then if we look down below that, in our emotional body, this is the yellow overtone human. So in order to figure out how you want to create in this direction that you're flowing in, we have the yellow overtone human there to tell you to look at your emotions. Think about how you can free your will. How can you be more of a free spirit? And so you want to command your emotions to give you that wisdom. So for example, let me think of an example. So for example, I'm gonna use doing the oracle readings, right? So this is real life evolving, or how my mind works when it comes to this, right? All right, so when I'm thinking about how I do the cosmic oracle readings, I want to realize how I'm flowing in it. I'm allowing myself to be guided by my instincts to show me how to flow. So for example, in those moments when I'm getting so excited, I'm like, okay, let me pause and breathe. Let me calm down. Like, say, for example, if I were started to feel like jittery or something, or if I start to feel like, I'm getting too hyped where I can't focus no more, then my wisdom would tell me, hey, calm down, breathe, right? So, as I stay present and realizing how I'm flowing through this oracle reading, I'm actually being in tune with my emotions, or my energies and motions in my body. And I'm saying, okay, emotions, I'm paying attention to you. Give me my wisdom. I'm commanding it. I'm empowering myself to listen to my emotions with, and extract the wisdom from it so I can continue to flow through the oracle reading, right? So it's the same thing that I want you to practice doing as I go through this oracle reading. Make it personal to you, where you are in your journey. One of my goals is to evolve us from looking at things from a I want us to stop looking at it from just the concept. And I want us to get into the practice of it. I want us to incorporate these things. So I'm encouraging you to incorporate it right here and right now as you're listening to me. I know you may be, new to it, and you want to understand what I'm talking about. However, you will understand through understanding it. Making it personal is how you evolve in how you understand something. So just listening to me talk about it is building the understanding. But when you make it personal, you start to understand it. And then when you practice it, then comes the overstanding, right? All right, so I'm gonna get off of that and get back into the oracle reading, right? So now when we look to the left, that is the position of our mental body. So it's like, okay, now that I'm aware of, I done commanded myself to, focus on being focus on my wisdom. How can I transform my mind so that I can take this energy that I'm feeling and turn it into the physical representation of it, right? So we have the blue solar storm there is in that position to help us to realize the energy that we're catalyzing. So just like I said, me being in tune with my emotions, if I notice that, I'm starting to stumble over words or, I'm saying too much, I'm realizing, okay, let me get my energy in check so I can present it the way that I know in my mind that I need to. So as I do that, I'm transforming my mindset. We got to transform our mindset in the way that we're processing and catalyzing the energy in order for it to stay in alignment with our frequency that we embody. I want it to flow in a way that sounds nurturing. I want to flow in a way where I'm able to explain it for anyone, no matter the age, no matter where you are in your journey too, right? And so as I realize the different, the way that I'm speaking or doing things, I'm also realizing how I can purify myself, right? So I can produce the energy so I could be in alignment with that. And so again, think about different ways that you can transform your mindset about how you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? What do you want your energy to create? What do you want it to look like? And allow your personal energy to bring it all together. And so next, y'all still with me? All right, bet. So next, we are going to talk about the physical body, which is here on the right. We have the white solar dog. And so I have a typo on here, but it's okay. I'm going to explain it anyways and excuse that. The white solar dog is what it should say here is realizing loyalty. So realizing how loyal we are to um, loving our hearts, or how loyal. So basically it was supposed to say realizing loyalty to love heart. Okay. So we're realizing how loyal are we to our hearts? How loyal are we to reflecting what we have in our hearts? And so in that, this is showing us, okay, I need to make these certain adjustments so I can flow in more purity and stay focused on the direction that I see myself evolving in. I want everything I do to reflect how loyal I am to being in my own flow, because I know who I am and I know what I want to do. I'm seeing I as in you, us, we, right? We want to be loyal to ourselves. So it's like, as we continue to go through this wave spell, it's showing us how we can purify the flow of our own energy in a way that we're loyal to our hearts. And so that is, in a nutshell, the oracle reading or the cosmic oracle reading for the collective. And so one thing I will say that, when it comes to us really putting this all together and seeing it how it all flows, what we will see from this is that we're able to stabilize our mindset so that we could focus on our goals, so that we could focus on um, magnetizing and attracting and bringing towards ourselves the opportunities that we want to evolve into or experience. And so keep that in mind, like, that's a telltale sign as to how aligned you are within evolving in your or synchronizing your energy. If you're able to find yourself stay in a stabilized mindset, that's a great sign, because now you're going to start producing those frequencies to attract those opportunities that you're seeking. And so give thanks to the cosmic oracle reading of evolution. May that you all have received some dope insights just from listening to that. And now we're going to talk about the soul assignment that we have. And so here's what I want you to do for this soul assignment. Even if you might watch this video later, you can always come back to the soul assignment and refine it, or, utilize it, I'll say. So the soul assignment that I have for us on Kin 9 is to nurture yourself into a calm, fully present state. So you could take some breaths. You could do the breathing exercise that I introduced on Kin 2 soul assignment. Take some breaths to get back into being present. And then as you do so, I want you to become aware of your heart and your body. Pay attention to any sensations that comes up, because that is your body informing you of or providing you with different information. And so I have a tip of, how to really get into this space. I would say to close your eyes as you do this part, because it helps you to reduce the distractions. It helps you to stay more present and be aware of yourself. It gives you that practice of staying tapped into your birth space. And so the actual assignment in itself, well, once you complete that, I want you to practice observing, not absorbing. And what I mean by this is, as you sit inside that present state, I want you to reflect on how you're thinking and how you feel about achieving your goals, or how you think and how you feel about what your purpose is, or the person that you are, the character that you're presenting yourself as. And so as you do that, I do have a question and uh, a task for you. So the question is, how can you naturally flow in your own frequency at all times, unconditionally, no matter the conditions? So at all times, no matter what, how can you stay true to your heart and flow in your natural frequency? That's basically what this question is asking. And so as you sit in that, I want you to continue to, meditate on it, or, however you do it, just allow yourself to have that space to answer that question. And so as the different thoughts come to your mind and as you're taking notes, I want you to formulate a process for yourself so that you can keep your energy and flow in your mind, emotional, and physical alignment. That mental, emotional, physical alignment with your heart. You want to keep your energy flowing in that purity, in that pure state of your natural self, your own frequency. And so I also have an affirmation that I would like for you to practice saying as well to, help you, work out certain kinks within this process. And also that you can practice, at any point, just to remind yourself. Or, you could come up with your own affirmation, but this is what I came up with. And so once you go through those different steps, I want you to say the affirmation, or you can use this affirmation as different checkpoints to see how you feel when you say it. And so the affirmation here that I want you to practice is saying, I purify my flow with grace, and my mind is now focused on my goals with pure intentions. I purify my flow with grace, and my mind is now focused on my goals with purified intentions. I purify my flow with grace, and my mind is now focused on my goals with pure intentions. Ashe. Ashe. And it's so dope right now because it is 5:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you into numerology, 5 is the number of change and evolution, okay? So Ashe to that. And so with all of that, be sure to journal or record your insights as you continue to complete these soul assignments, as you reflect on the affirmation for Kin 9, as well as the affirmation that I shared with you all. And so with that, I thoroughly enjoyed providing the Cosmic Oracle reading of evolution to all of you on this plasma Kin 9, the red solar serpent, the red solar moon. And I want to encourage you as well, or invite you all to book your own personal Cosmic Oracle reading. Just like I did the collective Oracle reading, If you book your own personal cosmic oracle reading, we will have that opportunity to discuss your personal destiny oracle. I will also share tips with you of different things that you could practice as well, similar to how I did here on the for the collective reading. And what I will say is that these cosmic oracle readings help you to bring yourself into vibrational alignment as a multidimensional being. It helps you to, stabilize the flow that you're in, just like we was talking about. So that's another synchronicity today if you are watching this. And my mind was like, ding, stop saying it's okay. Look, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna purify this flow, right? I'm gonna get it right. All right. So you also have the option to schedule and book a Galactic Profile Chart reading, and that reading will include everything. It will talk about your destiny oracle. It'll talk about what journey or path that you are on, on your day-to-day basis, like what path you're evolving through, like how you're developing your wisdom and the different experiences that you're having. And then also the third component is knowing more about like what your mission is and how you can activate your creative power in alignment to fulfill that. And so that is considered your galactic profile chart reading. And for more of the advanced, excuse me, and excuse me, I apologize for that. And so, yeah, I would say this is anybody can get the Synchrononaut navigation map. I will work with you based on where you currently are in your journey. However, I kind of geared that reading towards more people that have been privy, or I'll say um, that already know more about the cosmology in itself. However, like I said, I work with you from wherever you are, I'll say, okay? And so, you do have those different options for your readings. If you are new or you just want to, see how it is, then go ahead and get the Cosmic Oracle reading. If you want all of it at once, go ahead and get the profile chart reading. You know what I'm saying? So you do have some different options with that. And another option is that I offer coaching service, which you get the full package of, the cosmic oracle, or I'll say the galactic profile chart reading, as well as the Synchrononaut navigation map. And that is valid for 6 months. And, you do have different opportunities. I mean, different options as well as to, where you are in your journey and where you want to start in, jumping in on this journey of self-remembrance. And so with all of that, I am going to go ahead and sign out by saying that I appreciate all of you for tapping in. Be sure to subscribe to the page, as I will continue to come on here to share the Cosmic Oracle readings. And be sure to subscribe, share it with other people, talk about your experience through, you know, watching this video, talk about, the soul assignments, what results you received and all of that. And shoot, let me know. I love to hear what your experiences have been like as well. So feel free to email me. Feel free to message me on Instagram. Definitely follow me on Instagram too, so that you can stay updated with those soul assignments. I share the soul assignments every day. So that also facilitates in this evolution process. And let's see if it was anything else. I think that's all I got that I wanted to share. And so with that, I love y'all. I send you all peace, love, and light. I send you the highest of the highest vibrations, and may that you continue to dive deeper into your personal self-remembrance journey to self-mastery. And so with that, in Lakesh, Alaken, I love y'all. May that you enjoy your creation in every moment of now. And again, as always, much love and gratitude. Moon Goddess Ambrosia, the Fifth Force Oracle, is signing out. Peace, 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 peace.